Well, hey there everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Adam, thanks for hanging out with me again today. Today's video, well, it's another review of something that was sent into the channel. The kind folks over at Ruko sent over a drone and a power brick for charging. So this is the Ruko U11 MINI 4K, and then they also sent over their 65 watt USB power brick. So this has a USB-A and two USB-C outputs on it to charge whatever you want. Your laptop, your tablet, the drone, the controller, whatever. This should take care of most of your charging needs. They sent this along to pair with the drone, and we'll kind of go over it real quick. But the main feature, obviously, is the drone. When you get both of them out of the box, they both have a nice little protective, semi-rigid carrying case. So this is for the charger, this is for the drone. The charger comes in here. It comes with UK and Australia adapters, so it's kind of a around the world type thing. You should be able to use this pretty much anywhere. Gives you all the specifications. I'll put those up on the screen for each charge port and how much wattage and all that good stuff. Now the drone comes in this case, and it's already out, but I will show you. It has a nice recessed area for the drone, for the controller. These two boxes, one has your battery in it, one has all of your cables and extras in there. So you get a full set of props, both the counter rotation and normal rotation props. You get a extra set of gimbal sticks and a screwdriver with an assortment of screws. So if you're changing out your blades and you do drop a screw, probably in the grass, you have extra screws that come along with it. That's really nice to have the extra screws and the extra gimbal. And we'll go over why the extra gimbal is kind of nice as well. So, palm-sized drone with it all folded up. Now this is under the 249 grams, so I weighed it with the battery and the drone, and it peaked out just above 252, I think. And then I remembered I still had the lens cover on, so I popped that lens cover off, and we fell just underneath of that 240. I think it was like 247 and change. So your battery is a smart battery. It basically has its own charging system in the battery case, hard plastic case, and like I said, everything is kind of self-contained in here for the battery. I'll take a picture, but this thing is like almost see-through. Like the battery takes up the majority of the drone. There's a board up here, and there's a board down here, and then everything else is the battery. So they really cut out as much weight as possible. Now it does have some optical sensors down here, so when it's at low level, it can use the ground to kind of keep track where it is. Once it's up in the air, I think it's above 6 feet or something like that, the optical flow kind of disengages and it goes to the GPS as long as it's there. You have a lens cover on here which protects the little 4K camera that's on a gimbal. So we have multi-axis gimbal, so it pans up and down, left and right, and then it has the yaw feature. So when this is going back and forth, or it's fighting the wind, the gimbal will stay nice and flat. Typical pop-out arm struts. Whoops, got to do the long ones first. So once you unfold it, it gets to be an average size. Battery just pops in with a click. The pins for the connections are up top, and you just slide that in and it clicks into place and makes it feel substantial at that point. So the drone, nice size. It's underneath the regulated 249 grams or whatever it is. You also get your full instruction manual. This covers the remote, the drone, the battery, the app. All of it is kind of in here. So keep hold of this. This is going to be like your little drone Bible. It does give you a quick start sheet in here, so it quickly goes over the basics and hooking everything up. You also get a cheat sheet So if you're brand new to this, you've never flown before, and you don't want to spend the time to memorize everything, which is understandable, this is like a little cover sheet for your actual controller. So you could tape this in the spot, put a little blue tape on the sides just to tape it in the spot so you can quickly look down and be like, what's this button for? I forgot what that button's for. Yeah, nice little feature. My other one has that as well. The gimbal sticks pop off for storage because there's not enough room in the case to leave these on, and they actually just snap right down in the bottom of the controller. So you just pry those out and screw them on, you're ready to go. This part pops up for your phone, has the data cable here. It comes with multiple data cables, so you have USB-C, you have Lightning, and then also micro USB. So you can hook it up to pretty much any phone on the market and be able to use your phone for the screen. You have your power button, you have your 3 modes, you have cinematic, normal, and then sport mode. So cinematic is going to make really smooth, slow movements so you don't get any jarring in your filming, and you don't turn like hyper fast. Normal just puts it into a normal general flying mode so you can fly and kind of take video with it. It's smooth, but it's not going to go crazy fast. And then sport mode, that's to get you from here to there as quick as possible, save battery life, and also if you're fighting the wind, you can put it in the sport mode. Hopefully it gives it enough power to fight the wind back. You have your return to home button here. You have your still picture and video record here, and you have your gimbal control here. So this one, a short press is your camera one-touch adjustment. A long press turns off the GPS. This little button over here will allow you to basically put it in cruise control. So if you want to like do a fly down the beach and do it like a nice and controlled, you can basically get your movement going and press that button and it'll lock it into cruise control. I wouldn't do that personally, but you know, it's there. And then obviously your, like I said, your gimbal rotary button is here to do your up and down. Your charge port on the controller is right at the bottom, and that's pretty much it. It's, you know, press once for take a picture, press and hold to start a recording. You'll be able to see all this in the app once you're using it. So that is kind of what you get in the box. There's not a whole lot to go over. It's just controller, drone, battery, and then the charger and the cables for everything. So I'm going to get all this stuff together, head outside. We're doing one flight with it now, and then I'll do a second flight with it later, and then we'll come back and wrap everything up. As that optical hold does well. Now let's put this back in slow motion mode. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed, the fly around. Where we're at, it's really sketchy to get GPS signal until it gets up in the air. Once you get up in the air, you got really good signal. I think it's just all the tree cover around, and you can see how dense the tree cover is around here. It does take a little bit of time sometimes for this thing to find enough GPS connections to fire up. Flying around, it worked great. I had no issues. Now, I'm still very new to these things, so I don't have a whole lot of trust when it is out of sight and I can't hear it. I know the golden rule is fly by line of sight, but that means I can only fly, 30 feet in every direction, because once it gets above the trees, I can't see anything. So kind of bending the rules there, but where I'm flying, that area that I flew over and flew back, I know exactly where everything is at. And if I did go down, I'm going to end up going down in a tree and not hurting anything. So not terribly worried about it. So pros, super compact, easy to toss into the case, throw in your backpack, throw in the car, take it with you somewhere, fly around, get a lot of really, really nice video. I didn't even think to take any still pictures flying it, but I'm sure the stills are just as good as the video. The video is excellent. The drone itself, the application, the drone, it has a whole lot of features that you have. It's got like a circle U thing where you pinpoint an item or person or something on the screen and it'll do a fly around of you. It has a follow me mode, all that stuff. As you can see out here in the woods, not the best environment for those type of things. I didn't feel comfortable with pushing a button and letting the drone do anything on its own, just because, it's going to go sailing into a tree line and, there goes the end of that. So there is a lot more features in here that I did not cover. But it does have a lot of cool features. I will try to link some other videos in the description that show off some of those, follow me features and the circle me features and all that stuff. For me, just getting it up, flying, and just enjoying the scenery, getting it up there and looking at all the trees. I did it last year where I took the other one up, and at the very beginning of fall, went up there and took a panorama. Came back a week and a half later, did another one, and then kept doing that over and over again. So it went from green trees to bare trees in the course of, 4 minutes of video. So that was pretty fun. If you live anywhere with, scenic views, having one of these things at your disposal is great. The flying it over the track was really, really cool. I can imagine getting 2 or 3 cars out and flying it around. That would be awesome. So maybe next time I go over to Al's and we're, racing stuff around, I can get the drone up, have it pointing at the track, the 2 of us running around out there. That would be really cool. Other than that, it did everything it's supposed to. The only cons I can give this is this particular kit only comes with the 1 battery. So if you're looking at purchasing something like this, maybe go ahead and look at getting a second battery. 1 battery, I got, I think, 15 minutes of video footage of, actually just sitting there hovering and flying around and everything both times. And the battery still had plenty of juice left in it. I wasn't on a low battery warning or anything like that. So I think you get anywhere between 15 and 20 minutes in there is going to be your about average runtime. When you get it back, the little brushless motors are not warm at all. So it's not like you're going to overheat anything. I'd probably still give it a little bit of break, just let the boards cool down and everything. The battery does come out a little warm, but nothing concerning. But having 2 batteries would be beneficial. The other con is you have to prepare to fly this. It's not like you can come down, stick this battery on your, professional fast charger and charge a pack in 20 minutes and you're out running it around. Even with the Ruko 65-watt charger, this thing still takes a good while to charge up. I put this on charge. It had about half battery life. I was able to sit down here, clean up one of the buggies, cut out a decal sheet for one of the other kits, and still had some time to spare before this was fully charged. So these are kind of like, if you're planning on flying in the afternoon, go put it on charge in the morning. Or if you're flying in the morning, charge it the night before type thing. Just because it does take a little while. The controller does get a little warm on this side, but nothing, you know, it's not like uncomfortable. It's just noticeably warm on this side. So I'm assuming that's probably batteries and, you know, a lot of the thinky bits in there. But controller works great. I really like the, whoa, sorry. I really like being able to take those gimbal sticks off and store them in the bottom. That's really cool. A phone with no case should be able to fit pretty much any phone, unless you're like walking around talking on a tablet. You should be able to, you know, put pretty much any phone in there. Now, like mine, I have mine in like a big heavy duty Otter box case, and I have the Pixel 9 Pro XL, I think. So it's a big phone with a big chunky case on there, and it does not like sitting in this. The same, I had the Pixel 7 XL, and that's what my old phone is. That fits in here with a, you know, just normal generic case on there just fine. It's still a little snug, but a phone without a case, no problem. You shouldn't have any issues with that. So other than just minor, you know, you may have to take your phone out of your case to put it into the holder. That's not that big of a deal. Controller is very comfortable, and even sitting there flying around for 15 minutes, you know, nothing gets uncomfortable. It's a very natural feel. It's a very ergonomic radio, so that worked really well. But as far as the performance, no complaints at all. Starting it up, I did have some glitchy issue. The first time I started it up, everything was working, but the camera was black. Like my phone screen was just blacked out. Turned off everything, turned everything back on. It worked just fine. Second time out, everything was seen to be working fine. It just would not find a satellite. Turned everything off, turned everything back on, and it found like 7 satellites in a matter of 30 seconds. So maybe just old phone, you know, it's been dropped a couple times. I ain't gonna lie. And I may just not be doing something in this specific order that needs to be done. But that's a minor thing. You know, I never had any problems with it when I was actually flying. That never glitched. It never did anything weird. Everything just kept running as it was. It records directly to the phone and records to the SD card. Now, the phone recording isn't as quality as the one on the SD card, but it is nice to where you are getting the footage on your phone saved real time, and then this also is saving it real time, but it is a much higher quality format. Now, it does break the files up, but there's no stutter or lag in between the files. So that last video session I shot was just all 15 minutes of just straight runtime, and I think it broke it up in, well, it was just under 15 minutes. I think it's like 13 something. But it broke it up into 3 different files. But once you put the files together, it just plays one after the other with no stutter, no lag, no nothing. So if you're worried about, you know, video editing and having a hard stop and a hard stop, it's nothing there. You just butt them together and it just plays right through with no stutters. So I know this was a long one, guys, but there's a lot to cover with this. Plus, I want to go out and get some good shots of everything and me running the car. Apologies for the crappy driving, but I was literally listening to this above me, paying it a lot of attention because I didn't want it drifting into a tree or anything like that. So I was listening to it more than I was driving the car at first. And you'll see, you saw in the video, you know, the first few laps were atrocious. And then I kind of started to trust that it was going to stay there. There was one point in there that I stopped on the track because it started getting a few little wind gusts, and I could hear it fighting the wind. So I stopped and looked up and watched it, and it just sat there, and it bobbled in place, but it held its ground. So kudos to it. So thanks, Ruko, for sending this over. I appreciate it. There will be links down below if you guys are interested in getting one yourself or just learning a little bit more about them. I do think they have a few offerings that have the multi-battery packs with them, but I do know you can buy these separately as well. But probably a worthy upgrade of getting, you know, 2 batteries for it. So if you are filming an event or, you know, filming stuff, you can put it down, you know, give time for everything to cool off, put it back up, keep filming, and, you know, be able to get those shots that you really want to get. But that's going to be it for today, guys. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me once again, and we'll be back to the regular, you know, driving around cars very, very soon. But I really couldn't pass up the awesome offer to try this guy out. Everybody out there, you guys be happy, be healthy, be safe, and I will catch you on the next one. See you.